Greetings folks, in this video I'm going to be having a look at the new FrSKY X14S twin protocol radio. I was pretty excited when I saw this radio was released because it is just about the perfect radio for me. I'm currently using the Radio Master Zorro, which I still love, but it's getting a bit old. The roller selector is getting squeaky and scratchy and it's just getting a bit worn out, and as you can see I've got an auxiliary battery on there because I find myself running out of battery out in the field quite often. So those things are starting to irritate me, and it's lacking a few switches and things too. So here we have the Twin X14S, and it has all the switches, all the sliders, extra custom switches, and this beautiful rotary dial here. For a very long time this was my favourite radio, the Taranis X7, and mainly because of this beautiful rotary selector dial and the feel of it too. I like this sort of shape of radio and the simplicity. I prefer these sort of simpler style radios. I think the FrSKY naming convention these days is to double the number on the radio where it's referring to the previous radio. So the X7, this is the X14. So this is sort of referencing the old X7 radio. Same sort of feel to it, although it is rounded and beautiful and very, very comfortable. I've put these big umbrella gimbal ends on there. They feel really nice to me. The different thing is that it runs on ethos, of course, but I find once you get into ethos a little bit, it is really just like a graphic representation of Edge TX. You can think of it like that anyway. Takes a bit of getting used to, but it's very, very powerful, and it's being updated all the time too. That's one thing with FrSKY, they are updating everything all the time, so you do have to keep up with the firmware updates, but they're doing it for a good reason. You know, they're improving firmware and models all the time. Has a nano style external RF bay, which means that I can pop an Express LRS module in the back. Fits very easily, fits a lot easier than the other radios like the FrSKY, because it's a plastic mount instead of a metal mount, I think. But that means with this radio supporting twin protocol, ACCST D16 access, and via the external module Express LRS, that covers all my receivers. I will occasionally need to swap back to a multi-protocol module for products that I'm reviewing, and I'll just keep the Zorro around for that. Maybe I'll use the Zorro for taking down on the beach or something like that, where it doesn't matter so much. But X14S, it's like it was designed for me. I'm serious about this. This is not, you know, reviewers hype or marketing hype or anything like that. I am seriously considering making this my daily radio. Twin protocol is great because it is twin 2.4 gigahertz, long range and sort of low latency at the same time. The twin 2.4 gigahertz means that you have two smaller antennas rather than the larger 900 megahertz and the smaller 2.4 gigahertz antennas like you do with the tandem protocol. It has a small non-touch screen, which is great by me. I don't need a big color touch screen. It's just overkill for my uses. It means that it's cheaper, lighter, lower battery drain, and just simpler. It's all, I'm so used to just using the button clicks to select and program up things. There's the X14 and the X14S. The X14 doesn't have the built-in gyro that this one does. It doesn't have ball bearing gimbals, but it does have hall sensor gimbals. They come with internal storage, so you don't need an SD card. The 14S has 512 megabytes and the 14 has 128 megabytes, but it still also has an SD card. We'll have a closer look at all the bits and pieces. First off, let's compare some weights. The X14S is just over 700 grams as I have it there. The Zorro 527 grams with the external battery there. Let's just take that out. Say I've remembered to charge it up. 430 grams, so that is by far the lightest radio around. Let's check with the Zorro. The Boxer, pretty much exactly the same weight as the X14S. and the X20, and that is close to a kilo, 960 grams. Battery wise, it takes a 2S lithium ion and inbuilt charging circuits. Just unplugs there. While we're looking at the back, let's put the cover back on. Couple of momentary switches there, and 4 2.5mm hex screws in there to undo it, and there are a couple of 1mm hex screws in there, 1.5mm hex screws. To take the back off, you have to undo all of them. You can get an optional stand for it. It doesn't come with it, but that screws into these bits here, and you have to take the back off and bolt through from the other side to make that stand sit on there. I've got the umbrella stick ends on. They're an optional extra as well. They come in a little box like that. Otherwise it's just normal sort of stick ends. Turn it on so you can see the screen.
Switch warning.
Warnings, we can configure all of that stuff, of course. This is in the dark mode at the moment. You can choose light mode. So we have 4 trims, T1, T2, T3, T4, and you also have 4 buttons here. You can set them up as extra trims, or you can use them as customizable buttons if you want to. And you've got system, model, display and return on that dial, and then you've got the rotary select here. And switches, we have 3 position SA, 3 position SB, SC 3 position, SD 3 position, momentary switch up on the left hand side. Excellent, that's a mod that I do to all of my radios if it's not there to start off with, so that I can do discus launch gliding and use that for the launch. 2 position switch over there, and a couple of beautiful little sliders on the shoulders there, and that sets it apart from things like the Boxer, which doesn't have the sliders and is lacking quite a few switches. S1 and S2 pots. Dual 2.4 gigahertz antennas, long range and low latency. And on the bottom we have S port for updating firmware on receivers that don't do over the air. SD card slot, which you don't need because it has inbuilt storage, and a USB-C charging and data plug there. Nice rubberized grips there, and these sort of molded areas, and a molded finger spot there, which sort of direct your fingers straight onto the sliders. Really, really nicely designed. It just feels perfect to me. Let's have a quick look at the FrSKY website and Twin X4S. As you can see, here are the colours: white, black and teal. And this is where you find downloads for it as well, firmware, manual, that sort of stuff. So go there if you want to. I kind of dread going to the FrSKY website sometimes because it's very slow, unfortunately. It's working very well today, but it's something that FrSKY are working on, I believe. This is showing those customizable buttons can be used as extra trim switches if you want to. Now this shows the difference between the X14 and the X14S, a little bit cheaper, and to be honest, I'd be absolutely happy with the X14 as well. It doesn't have the inbuilt gyro, which is, well, it's an interesting feature. I don't know if I'd ever use it really, but you could use it for calling out telemetry values just by wiggling the radio, or if you're an inventive, you could use it to steer a model or even fly a model, I guess. Has a wireless para training system. I'll have to have a look at that. As I said, the 14 does have hall sensor gimbals, but not the ball bearing ones. Just flick through the features. The screen, 2.95 inches, 640 by 360. Light type, sorry, I called it a nano type. Light type external module bay. Haptic and voice alerts. I have put amber on mine, but I haven't put in the right spot yet, but I'll get amber going eventually. Supports multiple RF protocols, ACCST, D16 access and twin modes. The twin mode simultaneously gives long range, tens of kilometers they're saying, and you can vary the power output, and it also gives low latency at the same time. Specifications, 610 grams without the battery, ethos operating system, battery bay size 69.5, 38.5 by 20. and charges using a USB adapter, 5 volts, greater than or equal to 2 amps. In the download section, we get the manual, firmware for the internal module, and Ethos Suite. It'll just tell you to visit the Ethos Suite tool to do the updates. And let's show you how to do the updates, shall we? To do the firmware updates, we use the Ethos Suite. You can download and install the Ethos Suite from GitHub. I'll put a link in the description as usual. So we open it up and this is what we get, and it's telling you to put the radio into bootloader mode by, actually let's just have a look at Ethos here, it'll show us a bit better. Click on Ethos and it says your radio isn't detected, put it into bootloader mode by pushing the power and the enter button at the same time. It'll go into bootloader mode and then detect what your firmware is, and it will tell you whether it's up to date or not for each different component. So when you look at this, if there's something that needs updating, then just click the right outdated components here and it'll do it all for you. Very nice little app, the Ethos Suite. It works very well. You can also update the RF module. That's all up to date, so I don't need to do anything there. Flash module if I needed to. Model manager. And this will show models that you have on the plane. You'll be able to back them up. You won't actually be able to edit them like you can with Edge TX Companion yet. Hopefully that's coming one day. And to get the Express LRS or any other Lua scripts, we go down to Lua Development Tools, click on Open Web Page, and that will take us to GitHub. And there we can find the Express LRS Lua, which will enable support for an external Express LRS module. So there we have it, the FrSKY TWIN X14S. I think this is like a Goldilocks radio for me. It is just right. So that'll do for the introductory video, but I will do more flying videos and programming videos with the X14S in the coming weeks, and I'm sure I'm going to love using it. More information in the description as usual. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.